How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So I had a question come in where this guy was wanting to get my take on Focus 27. And this question actually came from someone that I was supposed to have done a podcast with like many months ago. He reached out to me, he asked me if I was down to be on. I was like, yeah, I would love to. He replies back, okay, perfect. Why don't you give me some dates and times next week? We can go ahead and schedule it. And then I just ghosted him and didn't even respond back. Man, I'm so sorry for that. I swear. Like I don't remember seeing it. It slipped my mind. I'm not sure what happened, but massive apologies for that. I would really love to be on a podcast, but I'm trying to get on more of them. In the past like 2 years, I've been on like, maybe like one a year, if that. I don't know, but it's been a while. So I'm definitely down. Sorry for ghosting you there. But luckily, he went ahead and, messaged me again, which is how I saw, that I never responded back to his other message from months ago. So he was asking me about Focus 27. And he also said, I spoke about it in a video. My first time when reading Focus 27 was, okay, that sounds familiar, but what is that? It's not really ringing any bell. So I went onto my YouTube channel, searched out Focus 27, and found out that I was talking about it when I was reading this book here, Frederick Erdema's book, Explorations in Consciousness, which is the first ever book I've ever read on, like, the only book I've ever read, and the first book on OBEs, like astral projection, a lot of like Robert Monroe stuff and things like that. And well, first of all, what is Focus 27? So Focus 27, at least from my understanding of it, and he also sent me like a short little video on it as well. It's like this kind of like way station or this middle ground that people go to like right after passing away to kind of ease them into the whole process of it, into like to the next stage of existence, right? So my initial thoughts on that is, and the same goes for like, all the OBE stuff. If you really think you're leaving your body and roaming physical reality, or even going to different planes of existence, shared dreaming experiences, anything like that, right? I have such a Western dominated or like Western initiated mindset and belief system just from growing up here in the West that, I have a really hard time believing any of that. Now, I like to leave the door open to it being possible. I've done a bunch of different mutual shared dreaming experiments in my life. None of them ever really hit, but I do like those ideas and I do like those thoughts. Like, just because I don't believe that they're real doesn't stop me from trying to go ahead and explore it. I try to keep that door cracked open. But what this makes me think about, actually? It was like all this UFO stuff. So David Grush, he's been on a bunch of interviews, and I've heard him talk about this in several places, but he talked about it too with Joe when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, where he was saying how, perhaps these aliens, right, they're not really from some other planet way off in the solar system somewhere in the universe, someplace else, that they might just be coming from like different planes of reality, of existence. And he talks about how like the whole Stargate thing or like remote viewing and stuff like that, and how maybe, these are actually coming from just different planes of existence that are like right here to pop in, they can pop out however they want, which I think is a really neat explanation of it. And I tell you what, if this UFO stuff ends up being proven real, then my belief systems are blown wide open. At that point, I'm definitely down to really try and explore this stuff more in depth. Although up to this point, because my base belief is I don't really believe it's real, I haven't given it much time or much thought or, much experience trying to test it out if it's real for myself or not. However, this did make me think of this one dream I had that kind of lines up with this whole Focus 27 thing. And it actually happened while we were staying in the hospital when my son was being born. So he was kind of like, he had some issues. So we had to spend multiple nights in the hospital, right? As, they're kind of working on him. So I'm sleeping on a couch in the hospital. My wife got the bed and not sleeping very comfortably. But also, when you're in kind of odd environments like that, it really raises the chances of you getting lucid as well, just because you're a bit, on a higher of alert because you're not in your typical sleeping arrangement. So actually, when I was there, I had a really interesting dream that kind of lines up with this, where the beginning doesn't really matter. I was like with my dad surfing on these cars. I get this lady who's like behind us with a gun. I like take the gun away to get her out of there. I was already lucid by this point. We get like to this finish line and flying in the air with my older son, and we're like zooming through all these different rings. And at the end, it's like we're going to this finish line. And it's like this really bright light that we're like flying and zooming through, getting there. Really great feels. We get to the end, and then the whole dream scene abruptly changes. And now I find myself, it's just me, and like not my kid, not my dad there anymore. But I'm in like this big park area that's just like, as far as I can see, just full of people, right? And there's people like young, there's old people there. Some of them are flying American flags. And there's just this really beautiful sunset. And I had this distinct feeling that like, oh, this is like all these people's very last sunset. And then it dawned on me, hey, I'm like in a hotel. I'm in a hotel. I'm in a hospital, right? wait, maybe these are all these people that are like dying and they're ready to go on to the next stage of life. But I remember also thinking is like there were so many people there that it was like way more than could ever fit in like the one hospital that I was in. But nonetheless, it was this neat kind of vibe that felt like was kind of along this Focus 27 route of thinking. It went on a little bit more than that, not so much related to the Focus 27 thing, but ended up finding like these dream characters who recognize me, who have helped, with lucid dreaming stuff or dreamwork stuff in my dreams in the past. So he calls me over, he wants to talk to me about some things. Um, I end up kind of losing control at some point and I start sliding down. Like, it's like the whole world tilts and I start sliding. Then, like, this one dream character catches me and, like, says, "Hey, man, if you're ready to go on to the next stage, sign this contract." And then I was like, when they gave me the contract to sign, it kind of like just surprised me. And so I wanted to sign it, but then the dream started breaking down. And then I ended up, dream ends up ending. I don't get to sign the contract. And I always wonder what would happen if I did sign that contract. But nonetheless, at least for the Focus 27 part, it did seem kind of closely related to it when I was at this park. It seemed like a bunch of people who just were recently passed away and were going on to the next life, which kind of lines up with this whole Focus 27 thing. Now, do I really believe it was that or not? My belief system would be no, but like I said, I like to keep it cracked open. It was still nonetheless a very interesting, impactful, and actually important dream that I had too, and just like, throughout my life. But anyway, that'll wrap it up. Thanks for the question. I'm totally down to be on that podcast again. Apologies for ghosting you there, and peace. One more thing to add on to the end of the previous video that I just finished shooting here that actually has nothing to do with the previous video, aside from the fact that I want to get a side-by-side comparison to the difference in video quality. Or my new external web camera thing came in that I can hook up to my laptop and use that instead of the standard front-facing webcam that came with my laptop. And I gotta say, I think this one is looking way better, like almost too clear. It's making me paranoid that like my office over here is too messy behind me, which good problem to have. I guess I just got to go ahead and clean that shit up. Also, a couple videos back, I was asking for recommendations on reasonably priced, decently good external webcams and things I could use. I had some great recommendations come in, but the one I ended up going with was this one right here, the Razer Kio or Kio Pro. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. So I guess this one, it says on Amazon that it's like $200, but like the reviews I was looking at was saying it was $100. And then when I went to Amazon to find it after looking at the reviews, it said like, regularly 200, but right now 50% off. Grab it for $100. So I'm not sure if, they just always say it's at 200, tell you 50% off so more people buy it. But nonetheless, I'm really happy with it. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about, yes, cat man. Let me know what you guys think about the video quality. And yeah, that's it. I gotta go feed my cat.